It's a lot of veggies on there.
Okay, so yeah, we have the rice in there.
Yep, the rice and the refried beans.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it can get kind of messy.
It was good. It was worth it.
Oh yeah.
It was worth it.
Finger licking good. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright, it's your girl, Lady of Life. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. I might have a little bit of a story time for you guys as well. But first, let's get this skillet going with this grapeseed oil. I usually like to cook everything in a medium-high heat, medium-low heat. Kind of have to watch your temperature, especially when you're cooking with lighter oils like that. You want to make sure you don't burn your oil. So we're gonna make sure we kind of turn that down a little bit. But before we get into this story time, today we are doing meatless tacos and meatless Rotel dip in this pot boiling. I got my rice cooking. Of course, I'm different. I have to go ahead and get my rice and my water together, boiling together. Let that come to a nice boil. Then what I usually do is I like to warm up my oil before I pour it over in the things that I'm cooking. So that's what you see me doing here. It's pouring that oil in there, getting everything cooking, everything started. Get my skillet wiped off. Don't want to sit the oil on top of the fire. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some more grapeseed oil back in my skillet. Get that going so I can get this shrimp cooked. Now I am cooking the shrimp on the side for someone else. But this is different type of things you can do with tacos. I am trying to go more of a vegetarian options or vegan options when I'm eating certain foods, so this is completely up to you. If you want to add meat to it, you can, but this is strictly just a vegetarian option. So we're going to go ahead and get our rice seasoned with our garlic powder, our onion powder, and cumin. I also, after the rice is done, towards the end when I fluff it with the fork, I usually like to add onions and bell pepper to it as well to give it a little more flavor, a little bit more texture. I'm all about textures. I do like to get that stirred up. It's still kind of cooking. I usually let the box rice cook for about 5 to 7 minutes when it's brown rice, which I'm using today. Sometimes 10 minutes on way lower heat is easier as well. I'm going to go ahead and get these shrimp cooking in this skillet. I'm also using refried beans as well today. I don't mind usually using a can. Preferably, I like to cook the beans down, then mash them in, give me a nice refried bean consistency. But today we're using the can. We're doing the El Paso brand, which is a very good brand. It's vegetarian, and it's low sodium as well. So it doesn't have all the extra fats and meats and porks and stuff that they use when they process the refried beans. So I do have the skillet switched over, and I have everything at this point at a low medium heat because I do have multiple things cooking at one time. But the key thing to do with the shrimp is make sure you don't overcook it. Usually eating overcooked shrimp is like eating pink rubber bands. It ain't good. Don't overcook your shrimp. So make sure you're cooking them on. If you're gonna do any type of extra seafood or something, seafood usually doesn't need that much time to cook. So shrimp usually maybe about 2 or 3 minutes on each side. Get it a nice good flavor. With this particular shrimp, I made sure I left a lot of the seasoning on there with that grapeseed oil that's cooking in it. So it's, when I chop it up, it's gonna have some nice juice and stuff flowing to give it some really good flavor. Also, you see me going ahead and getting my refried beans dipped out and everything. I like to keep those on a low, medium heat or a low heat so that we don't overcook them because they are already cooked. I do add extra seasoning to them as well. I do garlic powder, onion powder, and cumin. I want to try to give it that taco taste with that cumin and the different flavors with the onion powder and the garlic powder. I also add bell pepper and onion to the refried beans as well, just to give it a little bit more texture if you don't decide you want the rice. So I got a little bit of story time for you, because usually in the mornings I have a conversation with a very wise gentleman. Usually every other day or every Sunday we usually try to get together and we talk for a nice little while. And he loves to tell wonderful wonderful stories. And one of the stories that he came across with me the other day was back in the 50s during the Vietnam War, and how the currency for the Vietnamese money, which is actually called Vietnamese dong, VND. I know that's weird, right? But that's what Vietnamese currency is. It's Vietnamese dong. So the dollar is called a dong in Vietnam. And he was saying back then, $1 could get you 100 Vietnamese dongs or some, because now actual currency 2022, $1 in the United States equals to 23,738 VND. So that's Vietnamese dongs. Like, so over there in Vietnam, you take some over there money over there, you making some, you living like a king over there if that's what you choose. Y'all see me dancing up in here. I look, that Deborah Cox get me going. If you're not singing when you cooking or dancing when you cooking, you not cooking with love. But anyway, I'm about to get back to this. Got to get back to my story. So he was telling me back then when men wanted to enjoy themselves and relax to a certain degree of sensual exploitation, I would say, they would be in different environments, sensual environments, where men would come to different rooms to relax, enjoy, and release themselves, if you catch my drift. And he was telling me how $14 would shut the whole entire place down. So imagine 14 US dollars. 14 US dollars. Compared to however many thousands of Vietnamese dongs that would be, they was having a good old time. And if you catch my drift and know what I mean by a sensual environment, you can only imagine. So $14 would shut a whole entire place down. You know what $14 do now? Nothing. You can't do nothing with $14. You can't fill up your gas tank. You can't buy groceries. $14 is nothing now. Take $14 over there to Vietnam, you're gonna be living like a whole nother individual. And I thought that was craziness, legit craziness. Like, how are you shutting down a whole entire sensual environment room where you have different ladies doing different things for a nice amount of change? For $14. It blew my mind. And this was at like 8 o'clock in the morning when I was having this conversation with him, before his coffee and before the liquor. So I knew he was being honest. I knew he was being honest. He wouldn't lie to me. But just to know back then in the 1950s, like, men were making those type of decisions to get pleasure, like, and to know like they had big pockets and able to just shut a whole entire place down and being able to just like have their way, like. So what I got going on right now is I'm cutting up the red onions. I'm gonna put that over in our queso dip, the rice, and the refried beans. Then next I'm gonna cut up the other toppings for the tacos, which will be the cucumbers, the green onions, and I do mix a little bit of the red onion and the green onion together. It's something about that combination of those onions that give it a really great taste as a topping on a taco, or even like a potato or something like that. It is so freaking good. I'm also gonna get some tomatoes cut up, some cucumbers cut up, some pickles cut up, and some kale and some green leaf lettuce. And then I had a question for him. Sorry, you guys, back to the story. And I had a question for him as far as the challenge. Like, what is the purpose of the challenge that men get or men do to make them feel like they're just this superior guy, where they just want to talk to different type of women or just deal with so many type of women? Like, I had to ask him this, and he goes to tell me the challenge for him, being a very older wise gentleman, is knowing that he still can, knowing that he still got it to, make a woman smile or make a woman be able to give him what she wants, give him what he wants in a sensual manner. And I'm just like, but why continue to do these things this makes no sense to me. Like, how many times do you have to keep proving to yourself that you have it? Like, this is craziness. So you're gonna keep flirting and making your way into her possible Pandora's box, whatever you want to call it, just to back yourself out of it because you just wanted to see if you still got it. Like, come on now. This is craziness. This man is like in his 70s and he's still hollering at women. Still, like, at this point it's like almost like dirty old manish. But hey, you know, it is what it is. It's funny, hilarious stories to me because I just really try to understand like the purpose of the challenge or the chase that men have, or the men try to do to get a woman to put her guards down, to say, oh, well, yes, I would like to go out with you, or yes, you seem like a very handsome. Like, for what? Like, why even chase the woman if you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I'm good, because you know we're not even gonna get there. But the conversations are always great when we have them early in the morning, and I really just wanted to understand from a man, an older man's point of view, what is the challenge? What is the purpose? Why chase a woman just to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm good? Or even put yourself in the situations where you're surrounded by so many women. Like, what is that aura, that what does that feel like for a man? So he was able to give me a pretty good pretty decent but funny answer, and I just love the conversations we have. He's so honest, and he's able to give me real honest answers of the things he's done, seen, and experienced. And I a lot of times I want to reflect back on that as us as women. Like, some of those situations can really be avoided, especially like when we feel like we're in a web of a man's challenge, or his interior challenge of the things he's trying to challenge himself to do, as far as talking to a woman or talking to multiple women. So what can we do as women to block these type of things from happening? What can we do as women to be able to encourage ourselves, where it's like, we know he's playing games, so why do we not let him play games with us? Like, let's stand up and let's just, let's look back, and when we see somebody playing games with us, play the game back or just walk away. I think it might be a little bit more fun to play the game back. Hit them with a couple lines they hitting you with, and just know at the end of the day, like, you're not getting my digits and you're not getting my draws. So, my bad. I kind of got off topic a little bit, you guys, with this with this story time. But as you can see, we getting everything chopped up. I love this type of taco because everything is so fresh, especially down to the kale, the red onion, the green onion, the pickles, the cucumber, the tomatoes. It's really almost like a legit taco salad with the red beans. With rice and refried beans, which is really, really good because it's super, super fresh. And a lot of times, if you want to make a fresh pico de gallo, you can make a fresh pico and it'll go perfectly with this. If you did want to do the individual toppings with the kale and the red leaf lettuce, but it is definitely a nice fresh tasting taco, a nice healthy tasting taco. Even if you don't decide you don't want to do the rice and the beans, and you just want to just do just the toppings of it with the salsa, it is really a great delight. It tastes so good, it's so fresh, it's light. I can eat about 6 tacos myself. I usually don't let the beans cook too long. I usually just kind of let them cook long enough for the onions and the beans. Look how good do that look. You see that steam? Look how fluffy and nice that rice look, and that creamy cheese sauce. Oh, now let's get into it. Creamy cheese sauce, nice crispy tortilla chips. Look at the rice and the beans on them tacos. You guys, when I tell you it was...
Okay, so what is this?
The Rotel dip. Meatless Rotel dip, just onions, bell pepper, chiles, tomatoes, cheese, and then we have meatless tacos.
Okay.
We got refried beans and rice and onions.
Okay,
and
cool.
It's everything's topped. Each taco is topped with tomatoes, onions, cucumbers, salsa, green leaf lettuce, kale, green onion, red onion.
Looks delicious.
Yes, so go ahead and give it a try.
Okay. They tried to dip. Because I don't like a chip and dip chick.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It has a kick to it.
Okay. The chiles.
Oh.
Green chiles.
This is good. Mm-hmm.
And then you have the rice and refried bean tacos. And again, those have the green onion, red onion, salsa, kale.
Looks so thick, like.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of veggies on there.
Okay, so yeah, we have the rice in there.
Yep, the rice and the refried beans.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it can get kind of messy.
It was good. It was worth it.
Oh yeah.
It was worth it. Yes, great job.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad you enjoyed. Oh yeah, that looks so good and tasty. Thank you again for checking out another one of my videos. Make sure you check out the other 3 videos that I have. It's your girl, Lady of Life. I love you. Peace.
Bye.